Well, I hope so.
I think it worked this time.
The
I think
internet.
we're on. I do believe that we are on. Everything seems to be connected. Nothing seems to be broken. I don't believe it. Chandra's even sent a little chat in. We're done. We're in. We're in. We got it. We're
Oh,
here.
goody.
We snuck in. They were on us this time here, hanging out beyond the gates, okay? Outside of Fairmont Crest, okay? Security, they doubled. They tripled because they've been watching us come in week after week, sneaking into Fairmont Crest. All right?
Yes.
And they want us out because we're the riffraff. Okay, I don't even have
Yeah, we
a
are the
sponsor.
riffraff.
I don't even have a sponsor on my head. If you're looking to sponsor the 10th Floor Podcast channel, reach out to me on 10th4gh at twitter.com or whatever. I put your
Hey,
logo
your
right
hat's
here.
blue.
Yeah, so I turned off the light in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. 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 Hey, how's the broadcast though? Because I've been fighting with the program this week, folks. So let me know if the video was funky. I don't necessarily have a playback. It says an error occurred. Please try again later. So I don't know what y'all see. So if y'all see something weird, let me know.
Yeah.
If y'all hear something weird, let me know. I know my sound quality isn't as good as it used to
It
be.
was weird this morning. Like he had to try. Well, we came in. We were chatting a little too much, catching up on our lives a little too much, so we were late for that. And then this YouTube internet was being done.
Yeah, my little connection seems to be a little off its rocker.
Yeah.
All right, all right. Chandra says it looks good out there in Indiana. So, we're broadcasting loud and clear to Indiana.
Yay.
Anyway, hey everybody, security has doubled and tripled, but that's okay. It's all right. I've been able to bribe a couple of guards for the password. All right, so long as we know this, they're going to know that we're meant to be here in Fairmont Crest University.
Yes.
And that secret this week is, well, it has to be swinging for the fences, folks, because we can't forget the life and times of John Black. I know we're mixing it here, Fairmont Crest / Days of Our Lives. It's a fun little experiment to be in two places at once, kind of straddling the border of
Yeah.
Soapland, two cities in Soapland. But we're not alone, Mother. People have snuck in with us here into the lecture hall classroom at Fairmont Crest Country Club.
I know that Chandra's in there. I know.
Chandra's here. Chandra says, welcome if you'd like to participate live in the chat once the show starts, which it has.
Yep.
Please log into your YouTube account and be sure to subscribe so you get alerts and hit that like and thumbs up button. Thank you, Chandra, for doing all the heavy lifting for me.
Mm-hmm.
Moderator Jeannie is here as well. Hello, Jeannie. Sandra is with us. Hello, Sandra and Michelle. Hello, good
And
morning. The soap conversation continues.
yep.
Everything's doing great. Everything's doing fine. Broadcast is clear. All right, I'm not going to worry about it anymore. We're going to talk about soap operas. We're going to talk about Days of Our Lives. We're going to talk about Beyond the Gates.
Yes.
Well, last week we talked about Days of Our Lives first. Let's talk about Beyond the Gates first this time. Let me change the background. Boom! Beyond the Gates Unlocked is a beautiful pink and peach.
All
Look at
right.
us right here in the middle of it. I would change my background to something more appropriate, but that's harder to do on the fly. Hey, Del J, welcome. We're going to talk about Beyond the Gates, folks. We're going to talk about the health of Bill. Okay? We're going to
Bill's
talk
not
about the...
nice.
Oh, he's not healthy. We're going to talk about the love of Smitty. We're going to talk about the cheating ways of Vanessa.
Oh my gosh. Vanessa and Doug this week.
We're going to talk about how Kat is actually the good twin.
You think she's the good twin?
So let's think about it. Let's really strip it aside and let's think about Kat and Eva. All right? These are two characters that we have come to know well now. Beyond the Gates. They've been there since day 2. Not necessarily day 1, but they've been there since day 2.
No, she found the helmet yesterday.
Yeah.
Kat found the helmet
She
yesterday.
did. She did. She did.
Yeah.
She found it, and that's just... Well, here's the thing, though. There's this little thing called chain of custody, right?
Well, doesn't Jacob keeps on telling her to get her nose out of it, right?
Yeah.
And he explained to her, hey, if you find evidence in this way, that way, or whatever, well, then it's not going to be admissible.
Right. And what did she do? She went and found evidence this way and that way.
She did.
So none of it's
Right
good.
underneath the bed even.
Right. It's not going to be admissible in court, not in legal court, but it will be admissible in the court of public opinion.
Yeah.
And this
yeah.
is actually kind of brilliant, too, because in Soapland, people comment all the time, or viewers of shows that exist in Soapland. Soapland is the alternate universe that all soap operas live in. It's not Earth, it's Soapland. Okay? So out there in Soapland, people are constantly talking about realism and reality and this, that, and the other thing when it comes to an investigation. And we also got crazy-ass Leslie running around putting a new wig on every 5 days, right? Trying to French accents to
Yeah.
blend in so nobody knows who I am. Right? But how do you keep crazy Leslie, who is, presumably kidnapped Eva from a baby and bribes and money and is in the middle of all of this stuff and could very potentially find herself on the wrong side of law big time, especially with this whole Laura situation, right? So with all of that, how do you keep this character out of jail? How do you keep this character from getting her comeuppance? How do you get this character to stick around, given what she's done so far on the show? Well, you mess with that chain of custody. You put your grubby fingerprints all over the evidence. Now it's inadmissible in court. You can't use it to get her. So she doesn't go to jail. She isn't punished for these things. She gets to stick around and do bad things.
Because of the way she got the helmet, of course, breaking into Eva's room.
Yeah.
That's not the right. But she did have gloves on the entire time.
Yeah, I'm
Tainted the
I
evidence.
went for a joke, but you know what I mean.
I know.
No, she hasn't tainted the evidence, and maybe they could play it so, Jacob convinces her to put it back so they can go get it the right way, or some, who knows what direction this can go in. But,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
So Kat is underneath the bed. Mm-hmm. Right? She's hiding underneath the bed. And that's where she finds the helmet to begin with. It was underneath the bed.
Right.
And then Dumb Tomas comes in there.
Yes.
But Kat actually learned a couple of things. She actually learned a couple of things, and just by overhearing. Well, she actually knows that Eva's helping Laura.
Yes.
She knows that.
Mm-hmm.
She also knows that Eva does not have to help Laura.
And it's under the bed, too. She's not standing outside the doorway. That's another good thing that Beyond the Gates did. That's a great way to overhear something. Because it's not, I didn't walk in the room. It's, I'm hiding underneath this bed because I'm not supposed to be here. And what did I hear? Drama.
Yeah, and then Eva goes in for a kiss with Tomas. And Tomas gives her the information. My heart is otherwise taken. So Kat knows that Tomas actually likes her.
Yes.
Enough not to be an Andre about it.
Maybe enough to give away the one thing she's been holding dear.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows? And as it turns out, we'll just find out that Tomas knew she was under the bed the whole time. You can't trust that man. Yeah, see, Del J agrees. Del J says, I'm still suspicious of Tomas. I'm there with you. I'm suspicious of him, too. Anybody that works at the law firm, I don't trust.
No.
No. Because not only do they work for Bill, but also because lawyers are slimy.
Yeah.
They are.
Boy. They sure are. We had good evidence of that on the other show, right?
Yeah, we did. Check out that podcast, folks. We did that starting at 11 a.m. We do it every week, talking about General Hospital. Big trial on GH this week. So I'm telling the people in the chat, the chat was there with us. But if you weren't there with us because you're watching this on the replay, there's whole kinds of soap content on this channel. There's interviews with people who've been on the shows. There's red carpet things. There's us. Lots of us. So much us.
So much.
So much us. And we'd love to talk to somebody from Beyond the Gates at some point. We got the end. We got Fido, Yeah. So who should we target, folks? Tell us in the chat. Since you're here with us, we'll give you the choice. Who should I try to reach out to on Beyond the Gates to get on this show? It's going to be really difficult to get like a Vernon or an Anita, so let's be realistic about our reach here. But who would you want to talk to? Is it Jacob? Is it Kat? Is it Eva? Is it Sharon? I don't know. Might be interesting.
I want to talk to.
All of them. Is it Joey Armstrong?
Yeah.
Of course it is. It's me, Joey Armstrong, okay? You want to come play some cards? I'm telling you, that's how he needs to do it.
Yep.
He's going to do it, Danny. You see, it would be difficult. I mean, maybe. See, here's the thing, Del J. I mean, I said it would be hard to get a Vernon and Leslie. It'd probably be really hard to get a Danny and, Vernon and Anita. It'd probably be hard to get a Danny and a Leslie, too, because they are also really, like, well-seasoned, busy people who have done a lot of work. Like, not to, let's just put it in perspective. Let's put it in perspective without, like, diminishing me, the channel, or the people who may be interested in coming on here. There's a certain level of, like, wanting to that needs to exist. And there's a certain level of fame and busyness and notoriety that you typically can achieve and which you just don't want to anymore. And so, that's, we're not Michael Fairman is my whole point.
Nope. We're not
Anyway, not quite there. But you can help, because if you're not subscribed to this channel, and if you do that today, it carries a lot of weight. Like, it's interesting, because your subscriptions when we first started meant a lot. Because once we hit that 100, we can name the channel and get a specific link and do all sorts of, like, hey, you're actually a YouTuber thing when we got 100. So those subscriptions mattered a lot. All the descriptions in between also really, really mattered because we needed to build and get to this point. But now these last 48 subscriptions or so, oh my God, is going to change the experience of this podcast entirely.
It would.
In a great way, in a positive way, in a fun way.
A lot in YouTube land.
And we're really getting there. Like, so folks, continue to subscribe, continue to share, continue to help us get there. That's enough talking about side chatter. I'm so sorry for being distracted by that. I'm just excited. We beat 950.
Yep.
That's crazy.
I know.
Who would have thought? Not me. Mike Manning. Now that would be fun, Sandra. I think that's somebody within our range.
Who's that?
Mike Manning plays Smitty.
Yep.
Smitty. He'd be interesting. He's a big wrestling fan, too.
That would be fun.
So I hook him with that. I'll be like, I used to stand at ringside. You've never seen me on TV.
I don't know. You guys, did you notice on Friday's show of the Gates?
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice that the doctor that came in and talked to Bill, is that not the girl that Chelsea was digging on at the restaurant?
That's why it's
Trying
getting
to talk to.
it's getting deep and steamy, Mama.
Same girl, isn't
yeah.
it not the same girl?
I think it was.
I think it was.
I think it was too.
Chelsea and her sister Naomi are on their way to the hospital because their dad is looking like he might have stroked.
Right.
So they're on their way, and so Chelsea's going to see that girl again.
She's be like, "Oh, I'm smitten."
Now the girl's saying that she doesn't like her that way. She's
No, not yet.
not yet.
Give it time.
I know.
Give it time. Give it time. Madison Montgomery, says Chandra. I don't know what she's shouting that for, but great.
An actor's name, we don't realize.
Oh, maybe. Maybe that's an actor's name. Maybe. Yep, Mama Cat. I don't know. They're talking about stuff. Let's see. It's taken Dish and Day's years to have Day's PR team let them bring on actors. Oh, Jeannie. Well, you know what? We get to bypass all that by being really cool. Like we're real cool. Just ask Remington Hoffman. He thinks we're cool. Oh gosh, why is Madison? I know the name Madison Montgomery, but I'm failing to understand why I know that name. I don't know.
But that was the girl's name.
Oh, who?
It was.
The person that the doctor person we're talking about.
Yes, it's Matt. Yes. Now
Okay. That's why I know that name then, because I watched her on the gosh darn show.
Connect the dots.
Madison Montgomery is definitely a soap name.
Yes, and I remember Naomi said, actually, if that's even her name.
Well, I know someone who has got a really interesting name. Now, see, the thing is, that's why I know the name. So if it's Madison Montgomery on the show, cool, awesome. It's very soapy. But Madison Montgomery was also on American Horror Story Coven. That's the character that Emma Roberts played in the witch season of American Horror Story with the Supreme and all of that.
Yeah, I watched that.
Yeah. Similar to Addison Montgomery from Grey's and Private Practice. It's just a good. It's alliterated, it has a power to it. Madison Montgomery, you know? It's like the daughter of Jackson Montgomery.
Yes,
It's a powerful name. It's a good name.
it is a powerful name.
It is. It is. That was something when Madison denied knowing Chelsea. Ah, gotcha. Things are getting deep on Beyond the Gates, folks. If you're paying attention, if you're there for the ride, if you're not getting bored, if you're watching day after day, week after week, like the show is really taking you places. There's enough to latch onto, especially this week, because last week we commented we need to go somewhere, and what'd they do this week, Ma?
They went somewhere.
They went places.
They did.
They did. They went places with helmets under the bed, with Bill potentially having a stroke, even with the fallout of that, Bill in the hospital for the first time. And I saw somebody comment online, and it really struck me because it's one of those observations that I usually make, and so I'm glad that they did, was just like the placement and the staging of the characters around Bill's bed. Where you had Danny standing at the top of the bed, the head of the bed, by his side, touching his shoulder, running the show, all that kind of stuff. And where was Haley? Standing next to the daughters.
Yep.
In that friend position.
Yeah.
With Danny standing there in the wife and mother position.
Yes.
It was just, somebody pointed that out, and I was just blown away because I hadn't put that together myself. That it's just those little details, things, if you're tuned into them, are super interesting and tell a lot about the story and where things are probably gonna go.
Yeah, and they were directed to do that.
Oh yeah, that's purposeful direction, purposeful staging, and I don't know if it was Fido, but if it was you, good job, and if it was in the script, I mean, I don't really know, because this is new. It's very passionate. It's something that Michelle Valjean had been working on for a long time, so she could be involved in tiny little decisions like that as to where people are going to stand, especially if it's an important scene. Mm-hmm. Who knows? Who knows? Del J says that Danny is the Bill Whisperer.
Well, it gave a glimpse to me for Haley. Mm-hmm. It gave a glimpse of how solid they were once upon a time.
Oh yeah.
Just how solid, how much of a unit they were once upon a time. Mm-hmm. And Danny didn't come in there all catty and full of herself either.
No, she didn't.
No, she didn't.
No, not at all. I mean, there was more important things than my burned feelings happening right now. This is life and death.
Yeah, this is my girl's dad.
Yeah, this is the real life happening. Everything that's happening between Haley and the gun and the marriage, and then this isn't real life. This is our continuing drama.
Right.
We're gonna put that off to the side right now because you're stroking out on us. You're slurring. All sorts of different crazy stuff. And somebody in the chat, I'm not going to, you just say it was me, was suggesting that Haley is ultimately going to be responsible. We're going to find out that Haley is responsible for the health problems that Bill has.
I wouldn't be surprised because I think she's a gold digger. I think she has a history of dead husbands.
Haley does? And I don't know about a history of dead husbands, but maybe this could be the first that she's trying for.
Maybe. I mean, I don't think that Haley loves Bill. I don't.
I think, yeah, because we commented early on that Haley's main motivation seems to have been to find her way into high society, not necessarily a devotion to Bill that is undying.
And she wasn't born with privilege.
Mm-hmm. No. She's trying to work her way into a better situation. Yeah. Yeah. Chandra says, I still wonder what made Bill leave Danny. I think it was more that Haley was working her charms. And, I'm not sure that it was necessarily even... Well, was it Bill who made the decision, or was it Danny? Do we even know? I don't even know, Ma. Was this a mutual decision? Did one leave the other? I can't recall.
I think he left her for Haley.
Yeah. I mean, Chandra's probably right when it comes to that. Danny did react in a way where she wasn't necessarily the one to call it quits. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Bill walked out. I don't know. We could find out that Haley has some sort of secret held over him, and all of this angst and anger that we hold toward Bill, we're seeing him as the villain and all, and we can find out he's the victim of Haley.
I think he might be. Mm-hmm. I do. I think he might be.
Yeah, Shonda confirms.
Haley might even have, orchestrated even the friendship between her and Naomi to begin with.
Could have just been a long con. As we find out, she's Leslie's apprentice.
She's
Now that would be fun.
long con.
That would be real fun. We find out that Leslie she took Haley under her wing at a young, impressionable age, showed her ways, and has been a secret mentor and confidant this whole time, as they're both nutso manipulators.
Oh boy,
that'd be fun. I would watch that.
That would be fun.
I would watch that.
What made me even more so think this week that she's a gold digger is because. What happened?
Chandra said Haley has a clicky pen, and so I was responding. That's how they got Dante at General Hospital.
I remember. What was I saying?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I was clicking and I distracted you. We were talking about Haley and Bill and all of that, and how. Oh, I was speculating that maybe Leslie could be the master manipulator behind it all.
What gave me more reason to think she was a gold digger this week was. Yeah. He was very concerned about that trust fund account set up for education, whatever, her baby.
Yes. She wants to drain it.
She wants to make sure it's intact in case, her poisoning is working on Bill.
She's causing the stroke or the stroke-like symptoms.
That'd be something. Wouldn't that be something?
It would be something. The gold digger Haley, responsible for it all. We find out that she's a murderess.
And I don't think there's a baby.
No.
I'm not sure, though.
Maybe that's why she's so interested in the trust fund for the education for the fake baby.
Yeah.
She was just starting to get her little slice.
Yeah.
To a point in which people are going to be like, $10 million? Where'd it go? Like that other show. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so Bill, he'll be fine. No, we're gonna find out that Haley's responsible. She's real bad. I think that's where that's gonna go. But moving on from that, Ma. So the cover art for this week is Marlena on one side and Anita on the other. Both of them have a big reason to be very sad.
Yes.
So Marlena trumps it a little bit, but a lot of it. But they're both soap matriarchs who are suffering, the throes of mournful losses.
Yes.
So
Anita was really boohooing.
Yeah, we learned a lot about Anita's history with the articulates this week, more so than the previous.
How long do you think before Dante shows up? Barry Gordy.
Probably sooner rather than later, since I don't see us entering this story in order for us to jump off of it next week.
No, I don't.
We're
going
to continue to dig in deep. This is the big first deep Anita story.
I think so too.
And it's big about her past. One of the most eventful things to ever happen to her.
And the fact that Barbara committed suicide.
Mm-hmm.
That was not something that she shared with Vernon.
No, but Vernon listened on the outside though.
Mm-hmm.
He knows now.
Yeah.
He knows now. And of course, this is just the very beginning. There's going to be all sorts of detail that we're going to learn over the next couple of weeks about this, the circumstances about what led to this and what the real truth is and who really did it. Because it wasn't a suicide, was it? We might find out it was Barry Gordy, also known as Dante.
We might find out. It's true. And I heard that, I don't know for sure, but I read that they cast Barbara. So perhaps she's not really dead.
So that's the thing. They may have cast a Barbara. Now she may not be really dead. That's the total soap perfection is somebody's not dead that you think is. Secondly, also, there is a lot of speculation out there. It's coming up in the chat right now. I think Vinny over on Suds Media tweeted this out a little while ago as he was watching the show and thinking about things. Mm-hmm. The voice of the letter was not Anita's, but of the author's.
It sounded like June.
And that's what everybody else has been saying.
It did. It sounded like June's voice.
So there's a lot of speculation out there, and the show has given you reason to speculate it, especially if it was the same actor. And a lot of people think so, so there's probably truth there. I didn't look at the credits. I'm sure somebody out there did. But I didn't. Anyway, don't come here for the news. But if that is the case, if it is June's voice, they wouldn't have done that just because they need so. That's too random of an actor to have chosen for the random voiceover. So yeah, then she would have to be. And at this point in time, we've spent enough time with June for her to be someone.
Yeah.
So it's either this person who off themselves Barbara. There was speculation before that she's actually Tyrell and Samantha's mom. And in a perfect soap world, she'd be both.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm with it.
But you know what? Anita was right, though. Anita was right, because you know how Sharon and Tracy giving her such a hard time about her stepping away from the group and just like being manipulated by Dante and forget you guys. But Anita set them straight with you guys did the same damn thing.
Did the same thing.
So did I.
And what happened? Well, she's gone now, isn't she?
Yeah.
All focused on her own stardom, and we all left somebody behind.
Yes. Yes.
Threw it right back in their face.
Yes. And when Barbara was let go, you guys didn't back her up. You guys didn't go start a group together. You stuck with me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Because who was the vehicle? Who was going to lead you to superstardom? It wasn't going to be yourselves.
Yeah, so, she kind of gave it right back to him, and I thought she was right. Yeah. She doubled down and did dirty twice. But those girls were right along with her the first time.
Oh, yeah. And when it comes down to it, you make those choices and you betray people all the time when it comes to getting a career in entertainment. I don't know if that's necessarily as hardcore of a case nowadays as it was before when the world was much more of a Wild West. Because the internet changed a lot of that. Once you could reveal something instantaneous to the entire world, people's behavior changed big time. It's kind of interesting to observe, just from my own point of view and living experience from the generation that I am, where I come from touch tone phones all the way to, the iPhone 14 or whatever it is that we got nowadays, right? So I've seen that evolution. And then also my connection to professional wrestling has me reach into even more of a yesteryear of how things used to be because of how wrestlers behaved. I know a lot about how wrestlers used to behave versus how they behave now, and the main difference is the invention of cable TV and the internet, which is mass communication that instantly reaches a much larger population than when you're just driving down a southern road listening to the radio in 1938. It's very, very different what you can do, what you can get away with, and what feels right in the moment. We've moved socially big time when it comes to morality. What is right? What is wrong? How are you interpreting these events? So many things have changed.
Yeah, and everybody has a camera and a filming device in their hand almost all the time.
Right. So, those acts of betrayal that have been spotlighted in Soapland and made dramatized for our entertainment is based in a real way that people got fame. And still, Diddy's on trial right now for the messed up nonsense that he's been up to his entire career and who he's wrapped up into that and who became famous because of the stuff that they submitted themselves to. It is freaking wild out there in entertainment land, especially for the most famous, which is what Anita is supposed to be. A-list, Grammy-winning, legendary status. Famous singer.
Famous.
Crazy, wild, such good stuff.
And actually, her and Vernon, with her being a popular entertainer, and he being a politician, they are such a power couple.
Oh, yeah. Power couple, blockbuster couple on the cover of The Inquirer.
On the cover of Ebony, probably.
They cash those checks, not thinking about Barbara, says Chandra.
Exactly.
And Del J has been saying too, giving information about the actress who plays June. Apparently, she's got a name. She's a notoriety in some way. Share the name because I don't know the actor's name.
I don't. I've seen some pictures of her.
Yeah,
Her regular self.
yeah,
She don't look nothing like June. She's absolutely stunning.
but
No, but June's supposed to look like a down and out homeless person, right?
right, she's supposed to. But I guess the actor who plays June has been on other stuff, and she's no slouch. And this isn't her first job. She didn't just walk onto the set of a soap
Right.
and is now trying to get it going.
Yeah.
On top of that, too, Del J is also saying that she's also a singer. Like she's, I guess, known for having a nice voice. So the evidence is there, just when it comes to casting, that this person might ultimately wind up being Barbara. It matches the soapiness of Soapland. It matches where we are in the story, and it also explains why we know this character exists.
Yeah, I think maybe
Jasmine
June is,
Burke.
maybe June is the child of Barbara.
That's also speculation that's out there in Soapland that this is the child that Barbara left behind. And this is the result of that. And that would be also an interesting turn because of the age, because she's not as silver-haired and as old, we'll say, as Anita.
No, she doesn't look like the other three. She looks
Right.
much younger.
So it's, yeah, shoot, based on that, it
I
might
was
even be more likely that she is the daughter of.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, that makes it even more interesting because look what we did to her family. Now we feel a sense of responsibility because it's our fault that her life turned out this way. Let's
I
bring
got
her
the-
in. Let's clean her up. Oh, that's good stuff.
I got the impression as well is that all these years, Anita's been giving Barbara's family some money. Been helping them.
Some guilt there, as Del J says, over the last several decades. Oh, well, that's beyond the gates.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
we got
boy.
some heavy hitting over here on Days of Our Lives, folks.
Yeah, we do.
Big time sad week for Days.
It was.
It was, but it's an earned sadness. It's a right sadness. And honestly, folks, there's people out there that are a little weirded out by the sad story of John and the happy story of Bo. But
Well, it really,
you kind of got to balance some stuff out, I think.
I think so too. I think so too. And it really, the last act that John ever did was a lack of heroism.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was no other
And
way.
the result is Bo gets to
Bo.
continue his life.
Right, and so from from a fan service point of view, this is the best thing you could possibly do. Is it sort of feeling like you're trading one for the other to a degree, but they're also talking about that on the show. Marlena is, confessing to Brady, hey, I feel kind of weird about this. I think she was talking to Brady. She was talking to somebody. I feel weird about this, like I feel like I basically like John, like I feel like their family is coming back together at the expense of ours. Maybe it was Belle. She told it to somebody, one of her kids.
Yeah. I remember she was in her apartment.
Yeah, and then they had to respond like, yeah, it's not crazy to feel that way.
No.
No, because that's what happened. So,
That is what happened.
yeah. I mean, he's not alive because John is dead, but John died because of what he
and
was doing to
next
save
week,
Bo.
And next week there's going to be memorial service.
There is, and I really like how much time they're spending on this. Like, this has been the most careful. I don't know. I don't know. There's something about this one that's different than the Victor and the Doug.
It seems there's just I don't know.
It's likely because it was. It's
Maybe
likely
a different level of respect. I don't know.
It's probably because it was actively happening while they were shooting this stuff. They were literally shooting this as Drake Hogestyn was passing away.
Yeah.
Like Sierra had mentioned, no, not Sierra, Carrie, whatever. One of the two actors had mentioned that they their early scenes, which were 2-3 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
They said that they filmed that days before Drake had passed away. And now the cast is talking about how they were pretty much filming the death of John as Drake was experiencing his final days in hospice as well.
Oh, I just can't imagine how painful that must have been.
Learning about all that stuff, because before I constantly talked about artistic and commiseration, and this is a great way to let out those emotions in a way that matters to you. We're not on the show. We don't know what it's like to have this emotional connection to the characters we've been playing for 50 years. We don't know what it's like. There has to be something good and joyous and helpful and happy in playing these moments on television. But the more I learn about the timeline of what these people were experiencing as they were filming this stuff, it just makes me wonder how they did have the strength to
There
even
is
show up.
not one manufactured tear on that screen this week. Those are all real,
No,
real
no.
tears.
Gosh, there was just moving things because the last moments of John Black. We have Marlena cozying up against him, giving him permission to go, the countdown basically of his heart monitor, it flatlines. And she's laying there and and you can see it on Deidre Hall's face, and this is acting and real life, where you can see her just living in these moments for as long as she possibly can, knowing that this machine is going to flatline any second now, and just hoping there's going to be one more beep before that happens. You can just see that on her face as she's playing this moment. And finally, when it does flatline, she has this look of just utter destruction, heartbreak, and knowledge of acceptance.
Yeah.
And it was just the moment of all moments.
It was just so good.
It was
wasn't it?
amazingly well done.
I watch it first thing in the morning, right? And I'm like,
What a way to start the
boy,
day.
it's like, man, I kind of like, I maybe need to watch it a little bit later today because it's just a lot,
Yeah. Especially
to
that
put
day
on
was.
you when you first starting your day out.
I mean, the rest of the week was a little bit easier for me, but that day was very, very. It was an emotionally filled day, especially when you watch it early, for sure, for sure. But I really got to give it to Deidre. I don't know how she had the strength of character to do it. It just must be passion for the work and feeling like they're honoring Drake while doing this. That has to be the case.
I mean, I think Deidre and Drake were very, very good friends.
Absolutely, like
We're very good friends.
the closest of all friends, and a friend probably even fails the relationship that they had.
They were like almost like siblings, I think.
Probably even like married people.
Yeah.
I can't say brother, mama. They made out too much to say, oh, they're like brother and sister. No, that's not it. That's not it. There was something transcendent about the love that they shared for their characters that bled into their real lives, but never turned romantic that we ever heard about.
No, not that we have. And I heard, Drake was married for a long time.
Right. It's just something real special about just their chemistry.
Yeah.
Just their chemistry.
Yeah.
And I think that it's hard sometimes too when it comes to like a male and female chemistry dynamic for people who aren't living that to remove like the romance from it, because it's just kind of the expected way that, if you're close to the opposite gender and you're a straight person, that's just kind of how people assume things are going to go eventually. It's just baked into us as animals, right?
Right.
And so when you're able to bypass that because you aren't an animal, you're a human. Like, yes, we're animals, but we're not animals.
Right.
You're able to,
We're a
transcend.
species, but we're not an animal.
Right. You're able to transcend some of that baser instinct and really come together with something special and unique and never really seen by the greater world. And that's probably what Drake and Deidre had. And I fail at being able to truly understand the depth of it because I haven't been watching long enough.
Yeah.
Really.
But one thing I like you said, we haven't been watching that much. I got the impression that the Bo and Hope were there ride and die too. Those two.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my
I mean, so the actors, I don't know if the actors are as close as Deidre and Drake ultimately became, but absolutely, they've been working together and they have been like, sure, they've had, like, Bo clearly has kids that aren't fathered by Hope and all sorts of stuff, but like when it comes down to it, when I step on the soundstage to play Bo, I expect Hope to be there.
Yeah.
I think is kind of the thing,
Yeah.
And so that's before we get off of the John thing and start talking about Bo though. So the death of John, heart-wrenching, great, great work by Deidre. And then there was one other person that really broke my heart that day. I think this was Monday's episode, I'm pretty sure. And it surprised me. It took me by surprise that this person broke my heart as it did. But he did. And that was Josh Taylor.
Really?
Yeah, so after it all went down, Kayla goes to the pub, and it's supposed to be the dead of night and all that sort of stuff, or the early in the morning. They haven't even been opened yet. So she shows up, and he's like, "All right, so let me give you some breakfast." And she's like, "I can't eat. John's dead," essentially. And then they talk about it. They commiserate. He's like, "Hey, that guy raised my kids. He was basically me, you know. Like, where does Roman end and John begins? Like, nobody even knows." Da 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 da.
Yeah.
You know, like it was there, and that's the Roman perspective I really wanted to hear. So I was happy to hear it.
Me too.
But then the very end of the scene happened, where they were done saying their lines and the actors were waiting for the word cut to happen. And Roman went away, and Josh Taylor was sitting there crying his flippin' eyes out.
Wow.
And it kind of floored me in that moment. They left the camera on long enough to catch his tearful break, and it made sense for the character. They were talking about John. They ended the conversation. I'm allowing the emotion to flow. It totally worked. But the reason why it hit me so hard is, no offense to Josh Taylor, but that's not how he would play a scene. That's not the character choice he would have made. That's not the facial expression that would have come out if he was playing the moment.
Right.
This was as real as it gets.
Yeah. He was not playing anything.
He wasn't playing anything. He was living it. He was feeling the hurt and the loss and the pain. And a lot of what I think they say about John is also what they're saying about Drake. So much of honoring Drake. Like there might be euphemisms. Like, he was such a hero. I don't know if Drake was necessarily seen as a hero. I don't know if he saved anybody from a burning building or anything like that.
Right.
But that could be like, he was a hero, could mean father figure, could mean mentor, could be man I respected with all of my heart. You know, and they worked that into it. And it just, I can't say enough right words about it, honestly. It's just been so well done this week.
And and I was just so impressed with Deidre, just, you know, and like sucking back the pain and as she would deliver the lines and choke it on words and stuff. Oh my gosh, it was just so good.
And there were little moments too, and this is just, that's them playing the Marlena part of it, where I don't want your sympathy, I just want to be left the F alone right now. Where, like, Julie comes with the stuff, and Lemon, or it wasn't Julie, it was somebody. It was Paula.
It was Julie.
She showed up. Julie showed up at the lemon bars.
She had bags of lemon bars.
Right. She didn't know about it, and that's when she learned all that kind of stuff. And that was a fine moment, because they're these long-term friends that have been together forever. She just experienced her own loss. It totally made sense. There was backstage pictures of Julie and Marlena still hugging when the cameras were off, and all sorts of different stuff, because that's not the end.
Was beautiful too.
Absolutely.
And as characters, I mean, nobody in town would understand. I mean, of course, you know, Maggie lost her husband too, and there's other people have lost their husbands, but Julie's is just so new and fresh still.
Very fresh. Very fresh.
And she's still maneuvering, what's my new life?
Well, that's also Julie experienced the loss of the person she has been with for 40 years. Just like Marlena did. Maggie didn't lose somebody after 40 years.
No.
She lost somebody important to her, second husband, all that love, all that sort of stuff still to this day. But not the taking me from my late 20s to my 90s love that the other people had experienced. So yeah, there's something special there, and I really liked it. I thought that there was a little bit of humor and charm in real life in when Paulina and Abe showed up, and Paulina comes in for the hug, and as Marlena accepts the hug, you could see her roll her eyes. I don't know if you caught that, but I did. And I thought it was just a really human moment for Marlena to play, for them to play, for them to. I don't know if she chose it or if it's in the script or what. Don't come here for the news. I don't know nothing. I didn't read it, but but that's what came on TV, and. I just the little nuances that she's been pulling out is just, it's so good. And it's tough to say, ooh, give her the Emmy for this, because this is less acting and just more real. Oof.
Oh, goodness, yes.
Chandra says, from my years of reading Soap Opera Digest and following Days on and off, Drake Hogestyn was always the nice guy. I don't ever recall any harsh words about him.
That's everything I've heard too.
Yeah.
That he was just a good person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He was an
Mm-hmm.
encouraging person. He, always had some good advice for
Oh
people.
yeah. Oh
He
yeah.
was a people lover. He
People love
loved
her
to
right there with
people.
the baseball metaphor to encourage you. That's where the
Yeah.
swing for the fences comes from, right?
Yep. 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 Yep.
Ah, Michelle agrees. Think about it, guys. Drake and Deidre were in a working relationship for almost 40 years.
That's a
It's a
long,
long
long
time. Long, long, long,
time.
long, long time. Peter and Kristen, Michelle says, are also as close as Drake and Deidre from her understanding. So that's good.
Well, yeah, and I've never seen Bo and Hope.
This is
Of
our.
course, I
This
know
is
who they are because they're a
mm-hmm.
power couple in soap operas.
Yeah.
But this is my first time watching them.
Yeah.
But their relationship seems to be so solid, so solid.
Fancy Face and Brady.
Yes, Fancy Face and Brady.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, man.
and
I mean,
she's like, where have you been for these 2 years?
right
Right
here.
here.
Right here.
You've been here the whole time. Yeah.
Where else am I gonna be your Bo? I mean, right now, maybe not right here. Right here, you were in Greece for a long time. Oh, by the way, your dad died in a plane crash after visiting you. We didn't tell you that detail. I hope you don't feel too bad about it.
I know they kind of like she kind of like packed things on him, didn't she? Because she
It's
had
what
to tell
it's
him
what
there
you
was
gotta do, Ma. What are you gonna do? Stretch all that out?
right. I mean, she got Victor's gone, and
But it's not just you. Doug's gone too. Oh, and see now. Oh, we're sharing this loss together. You kind of got it. Like I woke up from say I go into a coma for 2 years, Ma, and I
yeah,
wake up, and the family structure is very different. I
yeah,
very much, and just take this as my medical wishes. I very much would like to hear about all of those changes at once, then to hear about them slowly over the course of 3 days.
yeah. I can understand that. Yeah, just lay it on me.
Lay it on me. Who's gone and who's new? Nobody's new and everybody's gone? Oh, God. Okay, well, here's my new existence. But at least for Bo, he had new. All right, he's got his namesake. He's got a little Bo. He got to see his other son in heaven, in purgatory, I guess.
Yes,
Zach,
Zachary.
little guy, or little man, or whatever.
Yeah, he was the one that told him, you're not supposed to be here.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be here, Bo. Go back, Daddy. Go back, Daddy.
You're
Oh.
not supposed to be here.
So he goes back. He's fine. He opens his eyes just as John dies, just like we said, Mama.
Yeah.
Just like we said.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Hope was married to Bo after Hope was married to Rafe after Bo died. All right, so help me out, Jeannie. Help me out, okay? Because I didn't watch it and I'm confused. The hell happened to Bo? Because I've seen scenes where he died of a brain tumor. He's in a coma now. Then he's coming out of it saying, "Oh my God, Megan made me do all of these things." And then I remember what's his effort, Jason. Jason Morgan.
Oh, okay.
Running off to go deal with this
Wasn't that-
Megan person.
Wasn't that his name?
It was shoot, I forgot. Justin.
was
No.
it?
Oh God. Steve Burton's
wonder-
character's name. We forgot already. Isn't that so sad?
Yeah.
Harris. Harris Michaels.
See,
Harris.
I had the H right.
Right. So Harris runs off to go deal with this Megan person. I think that he dealt with her or something, or it was part of his plot in something. So what the hell happened to Bo, you guys?
Yeah.
Why was he in a coma? And did Hope marry Rafe while he was in a coma? Because I feel like Hope should probably tell him that, rather than being like, "I've been here by your side this whole time, baby."
I know. Rafe did show back up in town this
He
week.
did. He did. He's back home.
He did. Jeannie, aren't you happy?
Yeah, he's also hanging out with Sonny, Maurice Bernard, over on that channel today. Hope was also married to Aiden and the French guy. Yeah, thank you very much, Jeannie, for letting us know about all that.
So
Goodness.
Bo and Hope have been like every other soap opera. They've gotten together and split up and gotten together and split up.
I think honestly though it's a matter of the same thing when it comes to those soap couples. It's a matter of who's on the show at the time. When they're both on the show, they're together. When one of them is not on the show, they're not together. I think that's how it boils down.
How many times have Bo and Hope been married? I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna give it a guess. I'm gonna say they've been married 3 times.
That would be my guess too. I think they might currently be married now.
I think they are.
Yes,
That's
what, Jeannie? All right, I think they're preparing to give us the whole breakdown of the whole Bo situation. They're going to type it out for us on the chat. I'm really looking forward to learning something here on the Days of Our Livestock.
There you go.
Anyway, so gorgeousness when it comes to all that. So we what I like is, so last week was like the events that led to the death. Action, adventure, medicine, heroism, willy won't he, big emotionality in that. This week was like, how does Marlena deal with this news? Is very much what we got this week, because she went to hospital, to family, to hanging out in Hortontown Square, to having conversations with everybody. Like, this was very much the Marlena reaction week. Next week is the funeral.
Yep.
And we're going to supposedly get a lot of like the kids' reactions. It's going to be less about Marlena and more about John's children. And
Well,
so
I
they're
tell
really like sharing the screen and spending a lot of time to allow these characters to get their moment in the sun. To pull this off.
Well, I thought out of the kids, all of them, showed great remorse and grief, but I thought Paul was just, he couldn't have stopped crying. If they'd have told him you have to stop crying, I don't think he could.
He couldn't. There's so much love that they have for Drake, and it's so obvious. It works for the character and all that.
Yes.
But those were not my character as sad tears. Those are I'm performing this while one of the most important people in my life is passing away.
Yeah, they're gonna have to bring like extra hydration into the studio because people are crying too much.
And I guess we're going to be honoring finally, finishing the honoring of John with the marriage of Paul and Andrew.
Yes.
We're going to go out
and
with a
I
party.
love the flashbacks, where and he was just so on board with it. He's
yeah.
like, "Yay, you guys love each other."
Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
I couldn't love you any less if you were straight or whatever,
Yeah, it was
whatever
cute.
it is he
It was
said.
cute, actually.
They are not married right now. Bo and Hope are not married right now.
Oh.
So we get
well,
marriage number 4.
It sounds like it.
The age difference for Peter and Kristen, that's Bo and Hope, was more evident at the beginning of their romance because she was still a teenager. She was like 18 or something when they started hooking up. The age difference is less noticeable now. So they're 10 years apart. So we're 9 years. I looked it up because I know a couple of weeks ago I came across the fact that Peter Ruckle is 70, and it blew my mind because he doesn't look or behave like a 70-year-old, in my opinion.
Oh, he's 70?
Yeah. See, look at you. Look at you. Like
I didn't.
Yeah.
I of course didn't think he was 45,
Well, no.
but I didn't think he was 70.
Yeah, so he's 70.
And his voice sounds so young.
Because usually when you're old, he starts to sound like this, right?
He sounds like he has a young man's voice.
He still pretty much sounds like he did when he was 35, which is when he was kind of reaching the height of his popularity in the 80s.
Yeah.
So, he's 70 now, and because I learned that he was 70, I'm like, well, shoot, how old is Kristen Alfonso? Because you don't look 70. She's 61 or 62 or something like that.
So she's 4 years younger than me.
Yeah, so there's a good 9-year difference or so between the two of them. Which, yes, 20 and 30, absolutely, you're going to see a difference there. 61 and 70, depending on how you live your life, maybe not so much. So, Matt, what the heck is going down in downtown LA? Nothing I'm involved in.
Yeah, what is there? What is going on?
California's a border state. I live near the border. Not as close as Jeannie does. I'm kind of surprised this isn't happening down there. But LA has a large Latino population. And as we all know, the President of the United States right now is trying to get rid of all of them. Not to get too political or anything, just straddle the fence with me here for a second while I talk about this. So it's kind of deteriorating in DTLA when it comes to confrontations between ICE officials and the people they are trying to escort away. So things are getting a little rough, especially with those who are sympathizing to the people who are being removed.
I saw something on Facebook. Your friend there put it on there. said something about what's going on in LA, but didn't allude to what it was.
Yeah, just, a little unrest. Little traditional Los Angeles rioting is what we're dealing with. It's also Pride weekend, so, there's that happening too. Anyway,
Okay.
the news isn't covering much in Indiana. That doesn't surprise me. I don't think Indiana's necessarily facing the same conflict as California
Well,
is.
my goodness, I'm here in California, and I haven't heard of it either. It was not on my news last night.
Well,
I'm in the middle of the state.
just goes to show what hits the national news cycle and what doesn't.
I'm not in SoCal, but I'm in NorCal.
Yeah. Let's see here. Patch is 74, says Chandra. Stephen Nichols, 74 years old.
Stephen Nichols is 74 years old.
Old Patchy. Old Patchy. Now, I'm saying old Patchy, by the way. By the way, folks, I don't know if you're hearing old Patchy, but I'm not saying old Patchy. Okay?
No.
Old Patchy is very different than old Patchy.
Yes.
Old Patchy's like, oh, good old boy.
Exactly.
It's old
it's a
Patchy.
L with a little mark.
Yes, old Patchy means look at this old man with an eye patch. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying old Patchy. It's old Patchy.
Old
Oh, look, old Patchy's over there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing because I'm from Louisiana. All right, don't. I'm Cajun as it gets. Okay, don't let the skin tone fool you.
Well, his grandfather was a Cajun, yes.
Sure wasn't. Don't let them lie to you. He absolutely wasn't. Okay, well, let's see here. And Kate is around that age too, says Sandra. Well,
Kate is, oh,
well, we got to wrap all these actors in bubble wrap because I do not want to continue this parade. So let's give it a break, huh?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow. Well, I know, like, I forgot her name now. Maggie is like 80.
Yes, very much an old lady. Holding it together, though. So is Julie. Okay, here's the story, Ma. Here's the story, okay? Bo died of brain cancer. And I think this is when Peter Ruckle said, I'm done, folks.
Okay.
So they had a big old thing, and he dies in, like, the arms of hope, and he tells her he loves her, and I think he dies kissing her.
Wow.
Like, they're mid-lip lock as they're saying goodbye, and then he passes away in her arms or something like that. Big emotional farewell. It's supposed to be the end.
Yeah.
But it's soap opera. And this is Bo,
course.
okay? And this is also especially Days of Our Lives where everybody rises like the phoenix.
Yeah.
So Dr. Rolf brought him back to life.
Oh, see, Days of Our Lives doesn't have the same rule book.
No. With the help of Megan, this Megan person that he was lamenting. Megan and Dr. Rolf brings Bo back to life and put him in an ice chamber to let him heal.
Oh, that's that cold fusion stuff.
Yeah, confusion. So he comes back to life, and I guess he's been... I'm missing a little bit of detail here, so maybe it'll pop in as I'm saying this. But I guess something happened when it came to Megan and Dr. Rolf's manipulations of the revived Bo that pointed him in the wrong direction. Eventually, it accumulates, whatever the events are, to Bo holding a gun on Hope.
Oh, boy.
Their son, Sean,
Shoots him.
has no other choice but to take his own dad down to save his mom,
Yeah.
putting Bo into a coma.
Yeah.
And that's the story.
And and Sean I sounded kind of silly at the time because I don't know the backstory. He was really, I'm so sorry I shot you, Dad.
Yeah. So all of that too, because he was going to take out. There was no other option. Do I let my dad shoot my mom, or do I shoot my dad first?
He was probably brainwashed or something.
Yeah, sounds like some brainwashing. Yeah.
A brainwash thing.
Totally. So that happened. Bo goes into the coma, off the show for 2 years, I guess. Mm-hmm. So I guess this happened kind of recently, in the grand scheme.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's what happened. That's the story in a nutshell. So, beyond that, the baby's fine.
I think Jennifer is overreacting on the cat thing. A little bit.
Yeah. And now they're going skydiving, and I guess a parachute isn't going to open, and somebody's going to go splat.
No, they went there.
I know. I'm kidding.
They went already.
I know. I was expecting it, and nobody. Nobody went splat. Well, why did they do a whole skydiving thing and the parachute opened just fine? For the
Well,
love, for the romance.
yes, for the cutesiness. And
Yes.
the gal that's playing Cat Green, I thought she's pretty good this week,
I think what I
Looking
think.
actually like a giggly, smitten girl. Very believable.
So I think what happened was the actress was like, oh yeah, they're not going to give Kat a personality or a history or a core aspect of her person, so I'm just gonna make it up. And I think that she did. She's just made up whatever Kat's all about
Yeah.
and is using that as her own performance anchor. Because you're right, there's a difference in her comfort with the material, with how she's approaching it, with how she's playing the scenes, less lost in it. Like when she's
Yes.
playing again, like a couple of weeks ago, she was sitting across the desk from Marlena talking about, I don't really love chat. Like there was just nothing, no direction, no core anything about Kat while she was explaining that. She was just kind of a characterization of emotion.
Yeah.
But now there seems to be a little more focus to it, and I'm going to give that to the actor. I'm not going to give that to the show. I'm going to give that to the actor deciding who Kat is.
Yeah.
And we'll see. We'll see if she sticks around with Chad. Because, Chad's obviously flapping in the wind. Obviously, folks, at this point to me, obviously, Billy Flynn had already told him he wasn't interested in renewing. Because Chad's not doing shit.
No, no, just liking Cat, but trying not to.
Right.
Really.
Kind of hanging out a little bit there. But even Jack and Leo had the big, like, in office conversation and emotionally heart-wrenching conversation. Chad didn't.
No.
So yeah, they understand that they are departing soon. It seems. I'm not sure we're going to get a lot of Chad by when up to the point of Billy Flynn leaving. But then the question goes: is Chad leaving? Are they recasting? And what does that mean for Kat? Because she has nothing going on other than this relationship.
All right.
And if Chad and Kat were to go like take a job offer in Saskatchewan, people are going to be like, really? He left with Kat? So anyway.
Yeah. But I did think that Jennifer like overreacted to
Oh,
it.
totally, absolutely. She needs to calm her tits. To put it crudely. She needs to calm herself. She should be actually far more like PO to Doug and all that for the necklace thing than Kat.
Exactly.
Kat was trying to protect her family, and she had told the truth and ultimately saved the day and this, that, and the other. Like, she'd done a lot to get over the fact that she was lying about being Abigail.
Right. And and under the circumstances of why Kat did what she did, and all of it wasn't Kat.
No,
It was that.
Clyde Weston.
It was Glad West.
It was me all along, you see. I've been pulling the strings. Was Hope buried alive? I seem to remember that, says Chandra. I don't know. Somebody else in the chat's going to have to
Saving
answer
our
that.
lives. Chances are,
I mean,
yes.
it sounds right, because I'm pretty sure back in my... Yeah, I'm definitely sure. Back in my olden days watching, all right, Andre Demira. I think he fell in some quicksand. And so that was intense. Because there's nothing more dangerous in the late 80s than quicksand.
So I did not know. So Victor is Beau's dad, right?
Yes.
I did not realize that Victor was his dad until Hope told him he died.
Oh, yeah. So it's fun, Days
I
of Our
was like,
Lives.
oh,
Because we've been
okay.
it's fun because we've been podcasting about Days of Our Lives for a year or so, or a little bit longer, right? And we come up on this information and then we forget the information because we learn it while we podcast. And podcasting is a different mental state than living our life. It's just a completely different thought process and all sorts of stuff than when you're just out there in the world. So some of the things that we learn when we podcast, we forget shortly after because there's not a lot of long-term memory associated with podcasting. Folks, if you ever podcast, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like presenting. Like it's very difficult to remember your exact presentation that you just did unless you rehearsed it like crazy and it's word for word what you rehearsed. Anyway. So because of that, there are detail that we forget after learning it. Like Victor is Beau's dad. I remember that. I remember learning that, and it anchored my memory of that because I had been watching some of the olden days, which was the debut of Victor and blah, 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 blah. You forgot. And then you relearned. And it's fun.
And so why is his last name Brady?
Because he was raised by Carolyn and Sean Brady, because Carolyn lied and said that Sean was his dad the whole time.
Oh.
So Victor and Carolyn Brady, and I know this from my olden days watching, Victor and Carolyn Brady, also 10 years apart, she was older, had a love, a young love that didn't work out because Victor isn't a good guy. He's a passionate lover, but he loves the thrill of the competition too much to really settle down. Right? I shouldn't be surprised that that Victor has another kid out there, as Bo said, because of who he is, the philandering ways. So ultimately, the relationship wasn't going to work out, but there was a lot of real, like, soap love there, where you love the villain. Why? Who knows? You just do.
So Bo is Xander's brother?
Bo is Xander's
Philip's
half-brother.
brother?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and anybody else that Victor is the father of, which I don't know if I have a whole list of Victor's kids.
I don't
think Justin's one of them. I think Justin was his nephew.
You think so?
I think so. I'm not sure. Vivian apparently was the one that buried buried Hope alive. Fun.
Vivian Alamain?
Oh no, it was Carly. Carly was buried alive. Not Carly from General Hospital, but Carly from Days of Our Lives. I don't know who Carly from Days of Our Lives is, but apparently Vivian was the one that buried her alive. Craziness on Days.
Oh my gosh, that Vivian.
Yep. Up to no good. That's why I think Kate's gonna offer, Ma. Really, I think we're still gonna get there. We had to take a break.
So?
Well, John died, so we had to kind of put the brakes on other stories. But once it really starts going again, like, Kate's still freaking pissed off at Vivian, and I really think that it would be because Kate's a very long-term character. Vivian is a very long-term villain who comes in and out and plays and has for decades and decades and decades. I think it would be really interesting story to tell, especially because soaps have been on for long enough for them to begin to have opportunities to do something a little bit different because of how long the characters have existed. They haven't existed for 40 years before, is my whole point. You know what I mean? Up to this point. So these characters have existed for decade after decade after decade. So they're now in a unique position where they can do, what if Kate kills Vivian? They've been on the show forever. They have so much history. And then ultimately it comes to this point between the two of them when they're in their 70s?
Right.
Like, that's kind of interesting to me, especially if they play up the we've been doing this for so long, we are old as dirt aspect of it. I do think that would be super interesting to kind of explore. Like, really, you had to kill her? Well, yeah, she was 70. She's going to go any day now. What are you doing? Like, I think that would be interesting. All you have to do is just wait for time.
And right now, Kate is furious, of course, with her because, she was the one that started the whole crap with Philip to get him to get the letter and try to get him to do this and do that. And then ultimately threw it right back in his face. I
would say she's more pissed about the exposure than the original plan. Because Kate was on board for the original plan. Oh, yes, absolutely. Let's get our cut. Victor totally cut you out of this thing. That's not fair. You're his kid just as much as Xander is. Go and get your piece of the pie.
And the argument, of course, that he was going through some mental illness at the time, and he was cut out of the will. But if his dad would have survived and saw Philip come, he would have
been back. Yes. We all know he would have changed his mind.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll have to see how all that goes out. So we might get some of it next week, but we're not going to get into any depth of great exploration of these other stories until after next week.
I agree.
Yeah, so that's what's going on there. So we'll find out what's happening. The baby's due any day now. That baby's going to come out anytime. Goodness gracious, that baby's getting close. Doug is finding himself in deeper trouble. I feel like, because we know that Doug is on his way out already. Dougie 3. So I feel like we're starting to write ourselves to that position, because we found out about this a couple of months ago. It's not 6 months ago, but enough time for the writing to start to appear on the wall, like when Harris was starting to find his way out. I think that's why we're being reminded of the depth of his debt. I think that's why things are getting kind of messy between the Holly and Ari and all of that kind of thing.
Wasn't he relieved to find out that she was turning 18 that day?
Yeah, he was relieved.
He's like, man, I dodged that bullet.
But also at the same time, nowhere near his fault. You don't pick up somebody in a bar and assume they're 16, 17 years old.
No, of course not.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but then she's, and then she says she wants to come back for maybe a round 2, and he was like, okay.
Yeah. All right, we'll do this. And I tweeted out, Dougie 3, come on, don't do that. Especially since he just felt that sense of relief. Why I wouldn't be like, oh, thank God. No, I'm not going to revisit that well. I'm good. I'm good. So we'll see. I feel like the writing's on the wall for there, so it's getting messy there. He's eventually going to find himself out of town, I think. Not gone, not dead or anything, but out of town in your traditional Days of Our Lives sense, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I think we're getting there. It's hard for me to predict the future of any other stories because we haven't really developed any of them. So we're pretty much in the same place when it comes to Xander and Sarah, Xander and Maggie, Titan, Demira, all of that, So it was nice to see Chanel and Johnny getting along.
Uh-huh.
So maybe there is a future for those two crazy kids after all.
Yep.
Yeah. Beyond that, Paulina's on Ozempic and she looks beautiful.
Yep. She looks great.
We're just gonna go ahead and just call it as it is. No shame, no harm. It's just like a lot of people when they remember when it was the fad for Hollywood to get the tummy, the staples, the stomach staple.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kathy and Jimmy and all sorts of other people going and getting that done in the early 2000s, right?
Yeah, lots and lots of people.
Yeah. Oh, folks, I think that's gonna be it. Is there any last minute thing you wanted to bring up or anything you were excited about on either show? I think that Kat's going to be the good twin and Eva's going to wind up being the evil twin.
You think so?
I think so, and here's why. Let me change the background. Just for 1 second. We'll be finished here in a sec. I think because of the Leslie influence. And if you really think about it, if you really just sit down and think about what it is that these two characters have been up to since the debut of the show.
Mm-hmm.
One of them has been up to manipulations, and the other one is just catty.
Yeah.
Like Eva is manipulating and lying and doing this, that, and the other thing to position herself and trying to seduce Tomas and all sorts of things. And Kat is living her life. She's just snarky.
Yeah. She's just a brat.
Right.
She's a Kit Kat brat.
Yeah, she's a Kit Kat brat. She's just bougie, as they would say.
Yeah, she is.
Like I think that if we're exploring twins, which I think that they are, and in classic soap fashion, you've got the good one and the bad one. I think we're gonna find out that Eva winds out being the bad one.
Maybe.
There's lots of reason to feel sympathy for her right now.
Oh yeah.
But that doesn't mean her actions are always going to be the right ones.
Right.
And we've seen some of it already.
Yeah, we have.
So we'll see where it goes. That's it, folks.
We'll see what she chooses to do when she's not following her mother's instructions. Then we'll really know if she's good or bad.
Well, I mean, is she still following her mother's instructions when it comes to Tomas?
No.
She's doing some bad stuff there, Ma.
Yeah, she is trying to steal her sister's
She's trying to steal her sister's. Well, she doesn't know it's her sister. Well, I guess she does know it's her sister's.
She does now.
But she's trying to steal her sister's boyfriend, and it was inspired because she doesn't like Kat. Because Kat said mean things about how she was dressed and her stupid shoes and all sorts of different stuff.
Yep.
And so she's doing this in
revenge.
It
it is revenge, yeah.
So, I mean, if you look at it right now, with how it's done right now, Kat is the she might not be the nicer one, but she might wind up being the kinder one.
Maybe.
Isn't that an interesting difference?
People were talking about, hopefully having a relationship with, she loves the fact that she's welcome at Martin's house and she has a niece and nephew, and she loves the fact of that, and she loves the relationship that she's creating with her dad. And she said that I hope that someday Nicole will stand me again, kind of thing.
And what lengths do you think Eva might be willing to go to ensure this outcome that she wants so badly?
Oh, maybe, huh?
I mean, with the Leslie influence has to be there. Whether she likes it or not, whether she wants it or not, whether it's justified in her own mind, whether she even realizes it. The Leslie influence has to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, showing her the ropes her whole life.
So with all that said, folks, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you had a good time. You can follow us on Twitter at 10th Floor GH to join the soap conversation all week long, and anything else that I feel like tweeting. You'll get some random, like, physics tweets.
You hear my phone
Yeah.
ring?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, it's fine. You can do whatever you want. I don't think anybody cares. I think if Ted and Nicole told Kat she was correct, Kat might calm down a tad.
I'll call you right back. We're not done podcasting. We're almost finished.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Bye.
So with all of that said, with all of that to say, oh shoot, we really do need to get out of here.
Who's your sister?
I got a meeting coming up with Angela in 6 minutes to talk about pettyprattle.com. Okay.
Oh.
Visit pettyprattle. Okay, all of that. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the video, leave a donation so we can go to the GH Fan Club event here in the next couple of months. It's going to be super fun. The more you donate, the more we can do, the more we can do, the more we can podcast about, the more you can live it vicariously through us. So do that. Subscribe, like, follow us on Twitter. I did all of that. 10thfloorgh@gmail.com. And remember to swing for the fences and don't let the gates hit you on the butt on the way out. I've been Matt.
I've been Kat.
And we'll catch you next week live right here on the 10th floor. 11 a.m. for General Hospital, 1:30 for Day of Our Lives and Beyond the Gates. And
I have to talk about that.
Oh, well, it's a change of schedule incoming. Goodbye.
Bye.